Presentation slides and recording will be shared out after the webinar. So there will be also a webinar survey form to fill up at the end of the webinar session. So attendees will receive an e-certificate of attendance from IEEE Computer Society after you submit the survey form. Today we have two speakers joining us, Ms. Robin Baldwin and also Dr. Ford Lumban Gaol. And also we have Jillian from IEEE Computer Society. So let me introduce you to our first speaker, Robin Baldwin. She's the Director of Periodical and Special Projects of IEEE Computer Society. Robin joined the Computer Society in June 1995. She leads the periodical team with a portfolio of more than 45 peer-reviewed magazines and journals and manages the Los Alamitos, California office facilities and operation. Robin is a certified association executive. She earned a Bachelor of Science in Bachelor Administration and Management from California State University, Long Beach, and a Master of Arts in Mass Communication from California State University, Fullerton. Baldwin received a Computer Society's Harry Hayman Award for Distinguished Staff Achievement in 2016. She is a member of Society for Scholarly Publishing, California Society of Association Executives, and also American Society of Association Executives. So now please welcome Robin Baldwin.
Thank you, Tom. It's my pleasure to be here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me a moment here. All right. So today I'm going to talk a bit about what do you need to know to get your paper published with Computer Society, IEEE Computer Society. I'm going to go over what I call the author journey, sorry, to help you learn what mistakes to avoid before you get started, help you identify what journals you want to pursue. I also have suggestions on, reading the author guidelines, writing your paper, submitting, and then at the end, hopefully it's published and then promote your paper. So these days, there's a lot of publishing misconduct, which is on the rise. And it's not just plagiarism or copying someone else's work and, pretending, using it to be your own. There's some other forms of misconduct. These are just some examples that we have come across on our desks. One is paper mills, where a publisher pays authors and guarantees acceptance of papers. Citation stacking, which a reviewer requests the author to include their references during the peer review process. And then there's also conflicts of interest, which can be among authors and reviewers and or guest editors of special issues. And some tips to avoid doing is do not publish in a predatory journal. You might want to check out this link to Think, Check, Submit for more information. Do not fail to cite others' work or use quotations marked for copied text. You always want to credit text by citation or quotations. Do not submit your paper to more than one publisher or publication at the same time. That's what's called a duplicate submission. And upon discovery, will likely end up both papers being rejected. Do not include too many references to your own work or list too many authors for IEEE. I'm going to interchange IEEE and IEEE Computer Society often in this presentation. IEEE being our parent company, organization, I should say. our policy is also, each author that's listed in the paper needs to have made a significant contribution to the paper, or the research, and the writing of the paper. And also, I'm going to repeat this next point often. Do not overlook the publication's scope statement, which is found on the about pages for each of our journal pages. The scope statement tells you what the publication covers, what topic areas the publication wants, publishes. And too many papers often get submitted without looking at the scope statement, and then their papers are what's called out of scope, and then those are pretty much automatically rejected. So when you're thinking about where to publish, you want to identify what the high impact journals are. And of course, IEEE and IEEE Computer Society have very high impact journals. In fact, just a couple of months ago, our impact factors were published. And once again, our publications ranked very high in our fields of interest, the different fields of computing in particular. The top ranked journal within the Computer Society portfolio is IEEE Transactions on Pattern Analysis and Machine Intelligence. The impact factor was 20, which is very impressive. And as was mentioned earlier, Computer Society publishes anywhere between 30 to 45 journals. Some of those journals are journals that we are not directly involved with as far as publishing, but we are co-sponsors of. So that's the discrepancy between the 30 and the 45.
I'm sorry, Robin. I need you to share your screen on presentation mode.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought I had it in presentation mode. Let me try this. This is what I had earlier. It's not showing. Okay, let me try.
Robin, maybe you can stop sharing and reshare again because we see two slides.
Okay. Was it showing it that way the whole time?
Yeah,
Since
when we
beginning.
started. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Hmm. Okay, let me try this one more time. All right, let me end slideshow. Okay. Get that into this. Display settings. Ah, is that better? Oh, hold on. I need to share. Apologies, everyone. Okay, let me try this again. Share this there and okay. Hold on. don't know why this does this. Is it still showing two screens?
Yeah.
Right.
There's a slideshow button on
Yeah.
top. Can you click on the slideshow button?
Top left-hand side.
Yeah, all I'm seeing is show taskbar. I'm so sorry. Let me try something. Okay. All right, let me try it again. We may
Carmen, do
have
you
to.
have the slide? Carmen, do you have the slide? If not, you can share from your side.
Mine is on PDF.
Okay. Let me try this one more time.
Okay,
Is
great.
that better?
Yes.
Okay. Apologies, everyone. Do you need me to restart anything or should I just go forward?
I think you can just continue.
Okay. All right. Um, let's see. So, okay, so we finished talking about that. Okay, so the next, so sorry, I'm just trying to get back to on track here. Um, so where you publish matters, and you want to make sure to see if the publisher is a member of COPE, which is Committee on Publication Ethics. IEEE is a member of COPE, which means the Computer Society is as well. I was mentioned our high impact factors. Our publications also have well-known experts in the field serving as editors-in-chief, as well as members of editorial boards. And also published articles in IEEE Computer Society journals and publications. They appear in two places. One is the Computer Society Digital Library, and they also appear in IEEE's digital library known as Explore. So you have a really wide reach to get your paper out there. We also offer multiple choices for publishing, including open access. We have two fully open access journals. One is IEEE Transactions on Privacy, which launched just this year, and the Open Journal of the Computer Society, which launched in 2020. All of our other publications are what's called hybrid. So you do not have to publish them as open access, but if you want to or need to, you can. We also provide resources to help you determine where to submit. Again, the scope statements of each journal are listed on the journal's about page. We also have a calls for paper page that includes upcoming theme issues and topics and deadlines for when those submissions are due. And IEEE also has a publication recommender tool to help authors find the right journal to submit to. So before you start writing your paper, you want to make sure you read the publication's author guidelines. These guidelines help you understand um, uh, what the requirements are. So they include things like page or word count limits, For journals, there's what we call mandatory overlength page charges. So if your submission is over 12 pages, um, there is a charge for pages over 12. Um, in order to get published, this would be upon acceptance, of course. If you are publishing as an open access paper, there's information about article processing charges, information about writing style, as well as guidelines for figures and permissions if you need to get permission to reuse a figure that somebody else created. There's also reference limits and formats and copyright information as well. So by now, you've done your homework, so to speak. You should now know where you want to publish, where you want to submit, what the scope statement is, and have an understanding of the author guidelines. And editors in chief are the decision makers, the ultimate decision makers in the process. And what they're looking for in papers are ones that have novel ideas, emerging research, and trends. For journals in particular, they're looking for technical depth. Our magazines are, I would call, more of a broad scope, and they're often applications oriented. And using clear, concise language in your articles is really important as well. And at this stage, I recommend creating an outline for your paper. And the items listed here include the various parts of an actual article. So you have your title, your abstract, which is a brief summary of the paper, an introduction about your topic, a review of previously published literature. So that provides kind of some context for the reader about what your article is about, what has gone before you in this, so to speak, and then you go into what your research method and results are, what the future research opportunities are, a conclusion, acknowledgments, and then references. If you're working with more than one author, one idea you could consider is assigning sections of the paper for each author to write. There's also some collaboration tools that you can use to make that easier. If English is not your first language, IEEE provides author discounts if you use either American Journal Experts or Inago, which are third-party editorial services. They will help provide translation into English and offer other editorial services. This is all
Sáng sớm mày không thấy cái cô này.
using concise language as far as when you're writing your paper, and use figures to illustrate complicated concepts, but do not make your figures complicated. It's really difficult to read. Now you've written your paper, you want to submit your paper. IEEE uses ScholarOne manuscripts for the peer review system. And just a high level overview of what happens after you hit that submit button. The EIC, who's the editor in chief, receives the submission after it has been checked by the peer review administrator and determines whether the paper will be assigned to an associate editor. The associate editor is responsible for recruiting reviewers, or if it will be rejected if the paper is out of scope, as I've mentioned before. Our associate editors recruit a minimum of 3 reviewers for each paper. They often have to send out multiple invites in order to get that number. Once the reviews come in, the AE reviews them, makes a recommendation to the EIC, and it could be either an accept, major revision, minor revision, or reject. And if it's one of the two revisions, then as the names imply, you would update your paper based on reviewer comments and resubmit. And as I mentioned, I think a little bit earlier in the presentation, the EIC makes the final decision. So next steps, after your article is accepted, you'll be asked to submit final materials, and there'll be a deadline. So getting those in by the deadline is always appreciated. The accepted version of the article, which is the one that's coming out of Scholar One manuscripts, is the one that's posted in the early access section of CSDL as well as Explore. So at that point, the article is considered published. It is the version of record until the article is finalized and published in a specific issue. Then there's, final production. You review a proof through Author Gateway, and then, as I mentioned, your final version is published in either the special issue, or if it's a general article, it'll be published on a space available basis. And IEEE CS Computer Society promotes each new issue that is posted in the Computer Society Digital Library. And we also encourage our authors to promote their articles on their social media pages. And we do some of our own social media as well. And then my last slide is just a roundup of all the different links and resources that I have in the presentation. So I apologize for the technical glitch earlier, but thank you for listening and learning about publishing your article. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, thank you, Robin, for your informative session. So, I'm not sure whether do you want to take this short question? How long does it take to publish?
How long does it take to publish?
Yeah.
So for special issues, it can take, it's a little bit shorter timeline because it's in a specific topic. There's, it's a shorter timeline, but I would say it's generally within about 6 or so months after submission. If it's for not for a special issue, the timeline can be a little longer, mainly because it depends on if a publication has the space available, or if it can be published right away, or if it needs to be in the queue. Minimally, it's at least, I would say, 6 to 8 months for general articles, a rough estimate.
Okay. And how to find if a journal is good to use for publication or not?
Okay, that's a good question. So a couple pointers I mentioned in the presentation. If the publisher is a member of COPE, which is now I forget what it stands for, Committee on Publishing Ethics, that is a good sign that it is a good. It's a publisher that's following all the basic principles of ethical conduct and publishing. High impact factors are another sign. Well regarded, your colleagues can also give you information about that as well. Should I answer some of these by typing them while Ford goes on?
Sure. So we'll continue with our next speaker, Dr. Ford Lumban Goh. So he's a full professor and head of Doctor of Computer Science in Bina Nusantara University and a chair of the IEEE Computer Society Indonesia chapter. Dr. Ford is a distinguished academic serving a full professor in informatics engineering and information system in Bina Nusantara University. He's the head of a department of Doctor of Computer Science, Bina Nusantara University, and research interest group leader at One System in Computational Intelligence and Knowledge Engineering. Dr. Ford holds prestigious roles in as the president of IEEE Indonesia section, Computer Society, and International Institute of Applied Informatics Asian president. With an extensive international presence, he has received multiple grants and awards, including visiting professorships in Russia and Japan. Dr. Ford is also a prolific researcher, a keynote speaker at various conferences, and a mentor to numerous doctoral and master's students. His academic contributions are widely recognized in professional societies and industry projects. Without further delay, let's continue our session with our next speaker, Dr. Ford.
Thank you so much, Tomeng, and thank you so much, Robin, for your talk. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to share my screen. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Is it moving the slide? Moving?
Yes.
From once? Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation, especially for IEEE CPS, IEEE Computer Society, to allow me to share my experiences, my my thought, and also my idea when I involved, especially for the IEEE Computer Society, and all of the activity that done around 10 years, yeah, from now until the past. My talk today with the title Leading the Way, the role of IEEE Computer Society chapter in the fostering community. I am for Lumban Gaol. Now I have, as mentioned in the by Kameng about the my short bio. I'm now full professors and head department in Doctor of Computer Science, Bina University. I'm also the chair of IEEE Computer Society University chapters. Now, about me, I'm working here. I'm also the visiting fellow researchers at the Advanced Institute of Industrial Technology in Japan. I'm also the advisor committee for University of Sridhar University in India, and also the president of III region, Asia Pacific, ASEAN region. And of course, previously I'm IEEE Computer Society Indonesia section for the vice chair for more than 4 years. Now I'm the Computer Society section for chapter or as a chair. Now I will divide my talk become three parts. The first part I will discuss about my role as an author. Second, because I'm also part of the conference organizers, so I would like to share my experiences. And since I'm also the officers or the chair of the Computer Society Indonesia chapters, so I would like to share my experiences as well. So there are three roles that I want to share today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this photo, we look at it carefully where we are belong. So if you look at it carefully, this is the fathers of IEEE. Yeah, if you look at it on the left side to the right side, those gentlemen is a part of the IEEE, or I can say the pioneers of IEEE. Giorgio Marconi and Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Alva Edison. And ladies and gentlemen, IEEE Computer Society is one of the, I can say, the best society if you have profession, especially computer science, and of course, not only as academia, but also the practitioners. If I can share to you about the statistical distribution, especially for IEEE Computer Society Indonesia chapters, we have a composition is quite unique, where we have about 30% of our members is come from academia. It means from students, professors, researchers, and around 30% of others come from industry, or I can say practitioners. And another one is, I can say, from government, and also from I can say startup, or even some of the other parts such as kind of relate with entrepreneur. So what is the message? The message is simple. I can say IEEE Computer Society is a melting point of all of the uh, peoples. They have a quite variety backgrounds. It means it's a very good kind of society. If you look at carefully the statistic that I said here, this is kind of situation in IEEE Computer Society. On the other sides, we have some of we call it IEEE Computer Society sister society. I do believe participants that coming today come from many countries. I do believe some of you probably can look at it. One of from these kind of societies is from your countries. ACM previously, 12 years ago, I am the computer ACM Indonesia chapter's chair, and of course China Computer Federations, and Gisafur Informatics from German, Information Processing Society of Japan, Singapore Computer Society from Singapore, and Korean Institute of Information Scientists and Engineers from Korea. One of the unique things, especially for in the computer society, is about diversity and inclusion. It's a very important message because volunteers has become a very important pivotal roles. If you look at carefully in this number, in the statistic number, 15,000 volunteers and 625 committee. It means this is a very diverse and very large. So this become a very important. It's become a very strength of the computer society itself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are part of the IEEE Computer Society, I do believe you know about this book. I can say this is kind of the holy book for us if you are working as a software engineering. If you look at carefully, SWE called Software Engineering Body of Knowledge, a SWE book, is a very important book as us, especially practitioners, researchers, and also the academia. So I have invite the Professor Hirori to IEEE Computer Society New chapters to deliver talk about SWE books. Now, if you look at carefully the situations, the first SWE books that she released in early in the beginning of 80. Yeah, this is part of the PC client server or formalization design programs. And if you look at carefully, the second version in 90 and the third version in late 20s or 2010s. And nowadays is version 4 in early 2010. So this involved with IoT, big data, AI. So there is kind of trend in the futures. Software engineering not only discuss about how do we create or produce application only. So that's because can be changed, can be mixed with another kind of background as well. If you look carefully in Swift version 4, this is combined with IoT, big data, and artificial intelligence. Now, there's the introductions. I would like to share to you about the role as a member of IEEE or IEEE Computer Society. The most important, there are three values when you become member of IEEE Computer Society memberships. The first is knowledge. This is an important one because nowadays in the future, as we call it AI era, it means knowledge become a very important and not only monopoly of the human only, but already diverse into the AI itself. Second, community, this become important as well. There is no boundary anymore for the geographical. It means community surpass about the geographical. There is no such kind of a nation anymore in the future when we discuss about community itself. And of course, supporting for the background of the community is becoming important. If you look at carefully in here, I will mention to you about some of the IEEE Computer Society support for the members. And of course, the issue about profession as well is becoming important as well to empower members to build a career and giving back to the society. Now, the first benefit is keeping technical current. Yeah, this is very important. If you are now pursue your bright careers in the futures, of course, you have to upgrade your certification, upgrade your knowledge, and indeed, this become important as well, especially if you're facing a space for the new technology. There are so many kind of certification that provided. The second one is about career resources and recognition. It's important as well when we want to look at it about leadership. Yeah, this is become important. Yeah. The next issue is about the professional networking. There are 80% of the members intend to involve with computer societies because of this professional networking, because they understand it. There is no, this is almost impossible nowadays if you're working by yourself. That's almost impossible. So this become important. That's why many members involve sharing similar interests and of course building the network and support others members. Now this become important. And the other one is the call it benefit is member discount. Yeah, this is important as well, where it's like how the members can have a discounts, especially for the computer society, like a conferences or even buying a book or ebook, journals, and articles, and even some other continuing education courses such as certification. And the other benefit is humanitarian programs. Volunteering is rewarding to develop interpersonal skills, create professional relationships, and of course, the expertise to help others. This is also part of SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. So you can look at it, especially for IEEE Humanitarian Technology Challenge. In Indonesia section, there are some numerous kind of activity about IEEE Humanitarian Technology, because in the past, for instance, when we have an earthquake or some kind of earthquake, especially for eruption of the mountains, some of the technology that adopted from IEEE, we try to implement it. Even previously, we have a tsunami. Yeah, this is one of the issue as well in here. Now, the other one we call global benefit finding, especially finding the current career pace. If you want to look and match, for instance, about the career or even finding about the new job, for instance, it's become important as well. And as we know, the most important is we have also offering the membership grades here from the student member, graduate student member, associate member, member, senior member, and the fellow. Yeah, this is becoming important as well here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Gillian already mentioned about the issue about publication. So I want to share to you some of the issue why we have to publish with the IEEE Computer Society in here. Of course, the most important is about increasing scholarly output. This is a very important reason. If you look at carefully here, especially the sustained university and its engineering school, as we call funding, donors, grant, faculty enrollment, and etc. The most important is we want to look at it to publish that all of these essentials and help institution trip. I want to share it to you, especially in my department. For instance, one of the top issue, especially in our KPI, key performance indicator or performance indicator in our department, is about funding. How do you get grants? There is no such kind of easy way to have a finding a grant. IEEE provides so many grants, yeah, even not only for professional members, but also for the students or graduate students, donors, grant, and faculty, especially for the innovation, visibility, and prestige itself. And publishing faculty is the key. In many countries, publication has become the most important if you wanna got kind of a promotion, yeah, from the one level to another level, especially for academia. For instance, like in Indonesia, if you wanna have a promotion from the faculty members, let's say from the assistant professor to associate professors, the key point is about publication. So this is important. If you look at it carefully in the term of the university or institution itself, if you want to look at about the ranking, I repeat again, if you want to look at about the ranking, for instance, like QS or Times Higher Education, THA, one of the important factors that they count is about the publication itself. Nowadays, the publication has become more important because publication can be can be influenced, especially with networking. That's why we call H index. And it's important as well. So the publications is related with individuals, faculty members, but also have an influence, especially for the institution. That is important. Institution in the term of ranking, in the term of grants, it's become important as well. Now, so publishing creates value for the students is important as well. If you have a published papers and you want to share to your students, it's become important as well. If you want to enhance or enrich your syllabus, you can use taking some resources from your paper, or if you want to provide some of the projects for your students, you can take from your papers. Of course, for science and technology, for investor donors, this is important as well for the grant. 99% of the grants always look at about the publication. They look at the publication, asking about publication, where you publish, and etc. And of course, for the faculty and the institution. If you want to leverage your career, especially if you want to increase your career from the assistant to associate, yeah, publication is very important. If you want to enhance your institution, university, or even your faculty's level in ranking, publication is very important as well. So this has become very important as well. Yeah, the right publication IEEE, there are so many. It's a very high impact, very prestigious, especially if you can publish it in IEEE translation. So one of the important key issue, like key questions from many authors about where we can have our papers will be indexing. There are many important kind of factors in here, starting from the Scopus, Elsevier, engineering village, AI, and then others issue. Now this become important as well, abstractings and indexing. So this is, for instance, when you have a publication, is a personal books. This is my collection of the books. Yeah. If you have a publication like these books, it means you can share it, your knowledge to another participants. This is the sample of my books. Yeah. So you can look at here. So the most important is these books can be part of your course materials in the class. And of course, this book also can delivering some other materials to another kind of researchers. For instance, like this is for the members. If I have this is my Scopus. Yeah. If you be careful about the Scopus, in Scopus, you can look at the numbers of your documents, the number of your citations, the number of H index, and how many kind of citation that you get from another kind of scholars. Now, this is important as well. Yeah. And you have to be careful, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a Scopus, sometimes Scopus name is very important over there. Yeah, sometimes if you have first name, for instance, like Indonesia's situations, not many individuals in here have the surname. Yeah, so you have to be careful here because those Scopus only look at it about the surname first and after the first name. And of course, IEEE, for instance, like if you have this one, this example, when you have IEEE Explore, this is an example. And Google Scholars as well. If you want to look at the Google Scholars about the number of your papers, citations, Edge index, and etc. LinkedIn, of course, you can put in here. This is important as well about your position. This is important as well. And increasing about your community. Nowadays, for instance, currently I am a fellow of Alliance for AI and Humanity. This is important as well for you to get kind of branding your own personals as members. And now this has become president of ASEAN region as well. This is one of examples here. So all of them actually have a roots when you're starting as a part of the member IEEE, member IEEE Computer Society. You can enrich, enhance your branding, enhance your leveling of your personality
Online gì à?
to become more knowledge acceptable into the global level. And since I'm working as well with the conference organizer and working in the Computer Society chapters, we
Đó,
have
con nói
to
rồi.
have support for the co-sponsors or even technical sponsor. I want to share it to you about this
Cái
one.
outline là cái báo cáo
Now,
cấu trúc chung của cái
when
nhóm gì
people
đó
look
đúng
at the
không? Ví dụ là
IEEE,
giới thiệu
many
công ty,
people look
target,
at IEEE
solution
conference
này nọ
is a
kia
high
chứ đâu
quality
có
conference.
tùy
It
từng nhóm nó
means
sẽ triển
it's a
khai
very
cụ thể cái
important
gì
to
đâu
all of
mà.
the participants that want to
Thì
involve
bữa
with
đầu mới
the
có phần kết
conference.
luận nữa thôi.
It means there are so many terms and conditions that you have to follow if you
Nó
want
không
to
nhớ gì hết thì.
get published in and then put it in IEEE Expo. So this has
Không
become
phải thì
important.
chắc nó nghe
Many
nhạc chứ
aspects
thôi.
that we have to look at. Yeah, especially for IEEE brand. Many organizations from university or even from government, industry probably, that want to involve with a sponsorship with IEEE. So this become important as well. That's why nowadays there are many organizations or institutions that want to involve. One of the important kind of recommendation for the conferences that it can help you in very detail is IEEE CPS. So you can look at carefully about IEEE CPS, how they can collaborate with you. For instance, a university have a very limited number of supporter, volunteer, for instance, and then you wanna collaborate with IEEE CPS. I do believe there's a very important kind of decision. Yeah, you can involve with them, manage the papers, provide a very good proofreading, and etc. Yeah, this is important as well if you want a partnership with organization, networking, conference attendance, not only in the term of the number of participants, but also diversity. Diversity in the term of geographic, in the term of the papers, variety, quality, as well as, and this is becoming important as well. And conference quality, this is an important one, as mentioned by Dylan before, that there are many quality issues. Yeah, for it's like this is the root is about the inadequate review process, content outside the conference or IEEE technical scope, or many people just wants to submit the paper, pay the paper without any kind of presentation. This is the issue about quality. And of course, content from 10% conferences screen. It means you have to look it carefully. The IEEE provides some of the observation from all of the conferences. This become important as well. Now, this is the issue about many people asking, especially to me, how do we knowing about the issue about co-sponsored or even technical sponsors. The first requirement is supposed to be not for profit. That is important. And the second one is supposed to be have the same similar kind of mission and vision. And the third one is co-sponsoring and add value for the organization unit, for instance, like IEEE Computer Society itself. The reputation is important as well, and of course, the track record is important as well in the term of the running the conference itself. I would like to share to you about some of the conferences where I become the general chair in the past. Before I'm working as general chair at IEEE TAIL 2013 and 2019 in Bali and Jakarta, Indonesia. This is part of collaboration between IEEE Computer Society, Indonesia chapter, as well with IEEE Education Society and IEEE Indonesia sections, and of course with the University, Binus University. So if you look at carefully, this is the flagship conferences where we can get around 200 papers presented in the Bali and 250 that's in Yogyakarta. And acceptance rate in the time is 25%. 25%. There are many papers that submitted that cannot be accepted due to the quality screening is very tough. So that's why we provide it in here. So the other one is I'm part of the general chair of IEEE 10 SIM. This is one of the flagship conference in region 10 as well. So if you look at carefully, this is important. That's in Sanur, Bali as well. And then this is the other one when we have as a organization unit as IEEE Computer Society. We also provide the co-sponsors. This is one of the conferences where we endorse as the co-sponsors. Co-sponsors meaning the chapters involved in the term of financially and in the term of risk, in the term of running quality control and everything. So almost the same like we running it with another kind of institution. So this is the other one. And the other one, this is the other co-sponsor that we conducted. One of the co-sponsor that we conducted. The other one, this is we call a technical co-sponsor. It means we are not involved in the term of financially. We're just involved with the technical issue related with this kind of conference. Yeah, this technical co-sponsor. Now, next I want to share to you about the role as a computer society chapter officers. If you look at carefully, the rule is a simple. You have to running the activity in the chapters. Yeah. And according to the issue of a chapter itself, to be considered active, a chapter must submit at least 2 pre-technical meeting registered per year. It is a minimum. Yeah, there's a very minimum. Any additional, we have to provide a report. And if we cannot doing this one, it means the chapter can be dissolved. So what's the message? The message is the activity that running as me as the individual member and the organizer is a very important input to the chapter itself. So this is important. What is the message? Any activity such as conferences, such activities, such as seminars, professional is important as well. So this is another issue. For instance, technical meeting for chapters, seminars, studies, summer school, invitations. So it's important one. Yeah. And all event must be announced to your chapters members to be eligible for all event report. And of course, this is possible for organization with sister society, student branches, and academic industry laboratory. This is an example of some of the chapter professor activity, IEEE C16, activity 1, the service engineering, example like this. The other one is this, where we become part of the activity, this, and this is an issue that we discuss as well, and this. Yeah. So this is my conclusion. IEEE Computer Society is the best to empower computer science engineering professionals to fuel continued advance. This is based on my experiences as well with the other members and other activities that we conducted. And of course, host and co-sponsor, technical sponsor of the seminar is pivotal role IEEE Computer Society. Very important, not only to the organizer, but also to the chapter itself. Because if you're not running this one, the chapter become in a very bad situation. Can be dissolved. Yeah, if there is no enough activity in 1 year, two activity at least. And of course, as scholar or institutional practitioner, IEEE CPS is the right choice. So if you have a kind of activity, want to publish it, publish papers, this become important as well. Yeah. I guess that's it from me. Thank you so much. I give it back to Kemi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ford, for the informative sessions. And I think most of the sessions posted out earlier was answered by Robin in the Q&A box. So now we'll wait for it's our Q&A session for this event. So if you have any questions, please type it into the Q&A box. And in the earlier of the session, I already mentioned that there will be a certificate of attendance issued by the IEEE Computer Society. So let me see. Okay, is there any other questions for both our speakers? Okay, we have one question here: how to volunteer to join IEEE? So I think Robin, maybe you can take this question.
Yes, I'll take that. I would go on to the computer.org website, and there is information about getting involved. There is a section called volunteer, and below that is a section called